In 1935, Elvis Aaron Presley was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, just 35 minutes after his identical twin brother, Jesse Garon, who was sadly stillborn. Growing up as an only child, Elvis often spoke of Jesse as a quiet presence in his life, shaping his sense of identity and longing. In the small two-room house where he entered the world, his parents, Gladys and Vernon, struggled but filled the home with faith and resilience. Decades later, Elvis would sometimes place an extra candle on his birthday cake to honor the brother he never knew. This early image reflects more than just a child. It captures a boy whose story began with loss, love, and the beginnings of destiny. By 1940, Elvis was a young boy in a working-class family that frequently moved in search of stability. Despite the constant changes, his connection with his mother Gladys remained unshakable as she nurtured his curiosity and encouraged his dreams. His father Vernon took on odd jobs while Gladys managed the home, doing everything possible to keep the family together. Elvis was shy in school but found comfort in reading and music, quietly building the foundations of the performer he would later become. This photograph reflects a childhood marked by love, challenges, and a quiet determination that would guide him into the future. In 1946, at just 11 years old, Elvis received his very first guitar for his birthday, a gift that would shape the rest of his life. His family often attended the Assembly of God Church, where gospel music inspired him deeply and awakened his passion for song. From those humble beginnings, Elvis learned to combine spiritual hymns with blues and country influences that surrounded him in Memphis. Years later, he would win 3 Grammy Awards for gospel recordings, proving how strongly that early influence endured. This photo shows a boy still unknown to the world, yet already standing at the threshold of musical greatness. In 1953, Elvis graduated from Humes High School in Memphis, Tennessee, proudly wearing his ROTC uniform for this portrait. He became the first in his immediate family to earn a diploma, a milestone that meant more than just education. It was a step toward independence. After graduation, he worked odd jobs, including driving trucks, while saving money to record his very first demo. Though his surroundings were modest, his ambition was anything but. This moment captures Elvis between two worlds, still a student of life, yet already dreaming of stages and songs that would carry him far beyond Memphis. Also in 1953, Elvis's persistence brought him to Sun Studio, where owner Sam Phillips heard something extraordinary in his voice. That same year, Elvis recorded That's All Right, a song that blended blues, country, and rhythm in a way no one had heard before. Phillips believed this sound could break barriers, and with Elvis on board, Sun Records gave him the chance to tour and grow his following. Though the beginnings were humble, that first contract marked the start of a career that would transform music. This image reflects the moment a young dreamer became a professional artist. By 1954, Elvis had begun performing live, and audiences were captivated not only by his voice, but by his unique way of moving. His hips swayed, his knees bent, and his body seemed to dance instinctively with the rhythm, thrilling young fans while shocking more conservative viewers. Some radio stations even tried to ban him, but nothing could stop the energy he brought to the stage. What started as nervous movement soon became his signature. This photo preserves that moment when music and motion fused together, forever changing how performance would be seen in popular culture. In 1954, a teenage Elvis proudly held copies of his first commercial recording, That's All Right Mama. The track was recorded in only 2 takes, capturing a raw and spontaneous energy that connected instantly with listeners. The single spread quickly through radio stations in Memphis, and soon his sound was impossible to ignore. For Elvis, this record was more than music pressed onto vinyl. It was proof that his dream was becoming reality. This photograph freezes the moment a young singer held in his hands the key that would open the door to stardom. In 1955, Elvis's career took a dramatic leap forward when Colonel Tom Parker arranged for RCA Records to purchase his son's studio contract for $35,000, a record-breaking sum at the time. Along with the contract, RCA gained rights to all of his previous recordings, giving them the foundation to launch Elvis nationwide. With the backing of a major label, his voice could now be heard far beyond Memphis, reaching radio stations across the country. This image represents not just a business deal, but a turning point, the transformation of a local sensation into a rising national figure. In 1955, Elvis often performed alongside guitarist Scotty Moore, one of the key figures in shaping his early sound. Moore, part of the Blue Moon Boys, brought a sharp guitar style that blended seamlessly with Elvis's voice. More than a bandmate, he became a close friend and early manager, guiding Elvis during those first crucial years. Their bond lasted for decades, rooted in shared ambition and mutual respect. This photograph shows not only a performance, but also the partnership of two musicians who helped lay the foundation for rock and roll's explosive rise. Around 1955 in Las Vegas, Elvis developed a surprising friendship with Liberace, the flamboyant pianist and showman. Though their styles were very different, they connected over a desire to be unique and daring in the entertainment world. Liberace advised Elvis to add more sparkle and theatrical flair to his stage presence, advice that influenced the dazzling costumes and shows Elvis later became known for. Both men also shared a personal bond, as each had lost an identical twin at birth. This photo reflects more than mentorship. It captures the meeting of two performers who inspired one another to embrace boldness on stage. In 1956, after Elvis signed with RCA, his career truly began to ascend. His single Heartbreak Hotel soared to the top of the charts, becoming his first #1 hit on Billboard. The recording session, held in January 1956, featured his band, the Blue Moon Boys, plus notable musicians like Floyd Kramer on piano. This breakout success transformed Elvis from a regional act into a national sensation almost overnight. In this photo, we see him riding momentum, a singer on the brink of legend, fueled by ambition and a voice that was changing popular music forever. Also in 1956, Elvis made his national television debut on the Dorsey Brothers stage show, a major milestone. His energetic performance drew attention across America, leading to invitations to appear on other variety programs. Television exposure amplified his reach far beyond radio and live shows. Now millions of homes could see his style, his moves, and hear his voice. In this image, he stands at the threshold of wider fame, as TV becomes a new stage that would amplify his star power for years to come. In 1956, at Sun Studio in Memphis, four titans of early rock and country, Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, and Johnny Cash, gathered spontaneously for a jam session. This iconic moment later became known as the $1 Million Quartet. Although informal, the session captured their chemistry, creativity, and the spirit of an era in transition. In this photo, the four men sit side by side, each at a turning point in their careers, a rare intersection of legends in a single room. Also in 1956, RCA capitalized on Elvis's surging popularity by releasing the self-titled album Elvis Presley. It combined tracks he'd recorded at Sun with fresh studio recordings under RCA's banner. The album quickly climbed to #1 on the charts, making him the youngest solo artist to reach that milestone at the time. This moment marks the consolidation of his sound, blending rockabilly, gospel, and country, and confirms that the young singer was no longer just a novelty, but a chart-topping artist with serious staying power. Later in 1956, leveraging his growing crossover appeal, Elvis signed a 3-year contract with Paramount Pictures. This deal ushered him into Hollywood and opened a new dimension of fame. Though he would face criticism as an actor, his charismatic screen presence brought him to new audiences. This photo captures Elvis at the cusp of a dual career, not just a singer, but now a movie star in the making. In 1956, Elvis made his film debut in Love Me Tender, a Western-tinged drama that became a surprise hit. Though his acting was new, his charisma and musical performances carried him through. By year's end, he was both a chart-topping singer and a recognizable face on the silver screen. This image shows him stepping into a new world, one where his face and voice would reach audiences beyond concert halls and record stores. In the mid-1950s, Elvis became known for his distinctive hairstyle, slicked back and jet black. Quite a change from his natural sandy blonde hair. Around 1956, he frequently carried a comb and visited the same stylist as stars like Marlon Brando and Steve McQueen. That dramatic contrast helped define his image: daring, rebellious, and unforgettable. This photo captures more than just his face. It shows how an artist crafts not only sound, but persona. By 1957, Elvis had returned to Memphis and purchased the mansion that would become his iconic home, Graceland. On March 19, 1957, he put down a $1,000 deposit toward the $102,500 purchase. The house sat on several acres just south of the city, offering privacy and space far from the growing crowds. This moment marked a turning point. He was staking a claim not just in music, but in his own domain. This image captures him establishing roots even as his fame continued to grow. In 1957, Elvis recorded and starred in Jailhouse Rock, both the film and the song becoming enduring parts of his legacy. In this promotional shoot, he poses in stylized inmate attire, a bold visual that matched the song's rebellious energy. The recording blended blues, rock, and swing, and the performance remains one of the most iconic in his career. In this photograph, we see Elvis transforming, not just as entertainer, but as symbol of youthful defiance. By the end of 1957, Elvis had starred in 3 films and cultivated a devoted following that led journalists to seize on a title: the King of Rock and Roll. The nickname stuck, and soon he was simply known as the King. This photo captures a moment when a young performer, through music and charisma, had grown into a cultural icon. He was no longer just a singer from Memphis, he was royalty in the world of pop culture. In 1957, Elvis received a draft notice that would pause his skyrocketing career. Although fans begged for a deferment, he agreed to serve his country. He was granted a brief delay to finish filming King Creole, then entered the U.S. Army as a private in 1958. His decision surprised many, a star trading stages for barracks. This photo captures him at a crossroads, one foot in the spotlight, the other stepping toward duty. During basic training in 1958, Elvis suffered a heartbreaking personal loss. His mother Gladys passed away. He was granted emergency leave to say goodbye. Their bond had always been deep. She had nurtured his dreams and grounded him. The pain of her death stayed with him long after he returned to uniform. This image holds a moment of grief beneath the uniform's facade, a soldier and son contending with loss. Elvis sailed to Europe aboard the USS General George M. Randall in late 1958, joining the 32nd Tank Battalion, 3rd Armor Division in West Germany. He served with the unit at Friedberg and lived off-post in the nearby town of Bad Nauheim. While he declined to formally entertain troops, he once quietly helped organize musical gatherings. This photo shows him far from home, adapting to military life even as his fame receded into the background. In 1959, while on duty in Germany, Elvis met 14-year-old Priscilla Bulio, the daughter of an Air Force officer stationed nearby. Though their age difference was 10 years, the two struck up a connection that would evolve over time. She later moved to the U.S. to be with him. This photo captures the beginning of one of music's most famous relationships, a meeting rooted in duty, distance, and unexpected closeness. In 1960, after 2 years of service, Elvis was honorably discharged with the rank of sergeant. He returned home to Graceland, where his father Vernon proudly viewed his military honors beside him. Though away from music, he had not been forgotten. RCA and his team released material to keep his presence alive. This image seals a chapter of service closed as the king returns from soldier to star. Once back in civilian life in 1960, Elvis resumed both his film and music careers. That year, he starred in GI Blues, playing a soldier adjusting to life after service, and recorded the film's soundtrack, which became a hit. His ability to transform real experience into art resonated with fans. This photo reflects a comeback, a performer blending his real journey with the stories he brought to the screen. In 1960, during the filming of GI Blues, Elvis met European royalty, Princess Margrethe of Denmark, Princess Astrid of Norway, and Princess Margarita of Sweden. He was invited to visit their entourages, cementing his status not just as an American icon, but as a figure of global interest. This image captures the moment celebrity met diplomacy, Elvis crossing cultural borders beyond music. By 1960, Elvis's fans had become a fervent community. On set, he often stopped to greet admirers, chat, and sign autographs, humble gestures for someone so exalted. He once said, "Without my fans, I wouldn't be anything except maybe still a truck driver." This photo shows him leaning in, connecting, a star acknowledging the people who lifted him to fame. In 1961, Elvis traveled to Hawaii to film Blue Hawaii, and during its production, he recorded the song "Can't Help Falling in Love," which became one of his most enduring hits. The film's soundtrack broke records, and Hawaii became one of his favorite retreat locations. This image transports us to a tropical backdrop where his music and persona embraced new textures and fans worldwide. By 1962, RCA renewed Elvis's contract with a 4-year agreement, reaffirming that his post-military star power remained strong. Though the music business had changed, his label still saw unmatched value in his presence. This photograph captures a moment of professional continuity, a confident artist moving forward with renewed support and ambition. In 1963, Elvis invited Priscilla to move to the U.S. to be closer. At 17, she got permission from her parents to join him in Memphis. She first lived with Vernon and his wife, attended Immaculate Conception High School, and gradually moved her things into Graceland in May. Though she officially relocated before turning 18, she promised to finish school and maintain structure. This photograph captures a young woman stepping into a new world, joining Elvis's life not just as a visitor, but as someone building her own chapter beside the king. In 1963, Elvis starred opposite Anne Margaret in Viva Las Vegas, and their on-screen chemistry sparked a real-life affair that lasted about a year. Priscilla believed the relationship ended in 1964 after rumors surfaced that Anne Margaret had leaked an engagement to the press. The tension between love, loyalty, and public image haunted the triangle. This image evokes that complex moment, the blending of film, passion, and scandal in the life of a superstar. By 1964, Viva Las Vegas became Elvis's highest-grossing film, and its soundtrack outsold even A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. That same year, Elvis negotiated with MGM to earn $1 million per film, a massive sum at the time. He was no longer just a musician, he was a bankable Hollywood draw. This photograph reflects the peak of his movie power, a singer whose box office appeal now rivaled his record sales. In 1965, Elvis toured with his famous gold Cadillac, a car he had purchased in 1959 for $11,064.25. Over the years, he had upgraded it with custom gold-trimmed seats, a gold-plated television, and other luxury touches. The car became a symbol of his flair and success. In this image, you see not just a vehicle, but a moving statement. A golden chariot carrying the king wherever he went, reflecting his evolving identity. After proposing in December 1966, Elvis and Priscilla were married on May 1, 1967, in a modest Las Vegas ceremony. Although media speculated about their intimacy before the wedding, they maintained that their deeper commitments waited for that day. Their marriage marked a new phase, a public union of two people whose lives had become inseparable under intense scrutiny. This photo captures the moment they formally bound their story, in a world watching every step. On February 1, 1968, 9 months after their wedding, Elvis and Priscilla welcomed their daughter, Lisa Marie. In this hospital photograph, the new parents pose before bringing her home to Graceland. The arrival of their daughter added a new dimension to Presley's life. Rock star as father, private family man behind public persona. This image immortalizes the moment when legacy and lineage intertwined in one frame. Late in 1968, after a dip in his film successes, Elvis returned to television with a special that revived his career, the legendary '68 Comeback Special. He donned his now iconic black leather outfit and delivered dynamic performances on NBC. The show reintroduced him to the public as a dynamic, raw performer, reminding fans and critics alike that the king wasn't done. This photo captures the energy of a comeback that restored his musical spark. In 1969, Elvis starred in Change of Habit, his final film appearance before shifting focus back to music and live performance. While his movie roles had dwindled, his commitment to recording and touring only grew stronger. This image marks the end of his Hollywood era, a turning point where he began rediscovering his roots on stage and in the studio. In 1970, Presley took up a one-month residency in Las Vegas. He introduced new dance moves inspired by karate and donned his iconic white and gold jumpsuit. The concerts were recorded and released as the live album on stage. This photo captures his command of the Vegas stage, a master blending spectacle with performance, energy with elegance. In 1971, Elvis received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, making him only the 6th artist to be honored this way by the Recording Academy. Known then as the Bing Crosby Award, it acknowledged his creative contributions of outstanding artistic significance. This moment affirmed his lasting impact on music beyond charts and concerts, a recognition of legacy. This image frames a moment of honor when the king stood not just as performer, but as legend. In 1973, Elvis and Priscilla finalized their divorce after separating the year before. On October 9, the court granted the dissolution, and the couple agreed on shared custody of their daughter, Lisa Marie. Though Priscilla had moved on, she later explained that her decision was not because she stopped loving Elvis, but because she needed to discover life beyond Graceland. Their parting was emotional, but they maintained respect and friendship as parents. This photograph captures a poignant moment in Elvis's story. A man balancing stardom with the challenges of family, love, and loss, even while remaining forever tied to the woman who had been by his side for over a decade. While separated from Priscilla in 1972, Elvis met model and beauty queen Linda Thompson. They began dating soon after and stayed together for 4 years. Thompson described the relationship as loving but exhausting, as Elvis struggled with sleep medication and health concerns. She often watched over him at night to ensure he was safe, a routine that wore heavily on her. Despite their eventual breakup in 1976, she spoke of him with deep affection, saying she loved him more than her own life. This image reflects the tenderness and strain of their years together, a reminder that even icons seek comfort in human connection. In November 1973, Elvis was hospitalized with multiple serious conditions, including pneumonia, pleurisy, and hepatitis. Years of prescription medication use had taken a toll on his health. Yet, even after recovery, he returned to the stage, determined to perform for his fans. His resilience became part of his story, a performer who, despite personal battles, continued to deliver. This photo illustrates a contrast. Behind the lights of applause stood a man whose body carried heavy burdens, but whose spirit insisted on giving his audience everything he could. Also in 1973, Elvis performed his groundbreaking Aloha from Hawaii concert in Honolulu. Broadcast live via satellite to over 40 countries, it was the first global concert of its kind. An estimated 1.5 billion people tuned in, making it one of the most watched performances in history at the time. Elvis wore a white jumpsuit decorated with an American eagle, symbolizing both pride and spectacle. This photograph captures an innovative moment where music and technology met, a show that proved Elvis's influence reached far beyond borders. By 1974, Elvis and Priscilla were co-parenting their young daughter, Lisa Marie, who was 4 years old. After the divorce, Priscilla settled in Los Angeles, while Elvis's main residence remained Graceland in Memphis. Despite their separation, both parents remained devoted to their child, ensuring she grew up with love from both sides. This photo reflects Elvis's tender role as father, a side of him often overshadowed by fame, yet central to his life and legacy. In June 1977, Elvis performed what would become his final concert in Indianapolis, Indiana. Despite declining health, he gave the audience a heartfelt performance, ending with "Can't Help Falling in Love." After the show, he returned to Graceland to prepare for his next tour. Fans remembered the night as bittersweet, the King's voice still powerful, though his energy showed signs of wear. This image preserves the closing scene of his stage career, the last time he would stand before an audience that adored him. In August 1977, Elvis passed away at Graceland at just 42 years old, the result of heart failure. His sudden death shocked the world and brought millions of fans to mourning. Despite the grief, tributes poured in, celebrating his life and contributions to music. The tragedy marked the end of a chapter, but not the end of his influence. This photo represents a turning point in cultural memory, the moment Elvis Presley became not only a legend in life, but an enduring symbol in history. In 1982, Priscilla Presley made the pivotal decision to open Graceland to the public. At the time of Elvis's death, his estate was valued at about $1 million, but the move transformed it into a thriving attraction. Within a decade, Graceland generated tens of millions in revenue and became one of the most visited private homes in the United States. This photograph shows not only a home, but a shrine to music, memory, and devotion, a place where fans could continue to feel connected to Elvis. By 2019, more than 40 years after his passing, Elvis's influence remained undeniable. Graceland welcomed over 500,000 visitors annually, and Forbes listed him among the top-earning deceased celebrities, with his estate valued at around $39 million. Lisa Marie Presley, his only daughter, inherited his legacy and maintained his presence in modern culture. This photo demonstrates that Elvis's story never truly ended. It lives on through the music, the home, and the devotion of fans across generations.